Hey guys, Stephanie from AmericanMuscle.com here with a review of these Kooks long tube headers with Kooks green catty connection pipes available for 2015 and up S550 GT Mustangs. In this video, we're going to be looking at a few different things in regards to these headers. We're going to talk about the materials and construction of the headers themselves and the install too. We'll talk more about this later, but I can tell you right now that long tube headers make for a difficult install, so I'm going to call this one a 3 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter. The Kooks long tube headers with the green catty connection pipes are going to be a good option for someone looking for a natural finish long tube that's not only going to maintain the use of cats, but that also offers a high flow cat that's designed to meet the EPA emissions requirements. Long tube headers are going to offer both performance and sound gains, but the end result of your headers will depend on the rest of your setup. The runners on these particular headers are 1 3/4 inch, which is slightly different than the 1 7/8 inch offering that Kooks offers with these same connection pipes. Traditionally, you see forced induction cars running the larger runners and NA cars running the 1 3/4 inch runner, but I wouldn't really say that that's a hard and fast rule, especially with the new Coyote motors. So you don't have to have a blower to run a 1 7/8 inch diameter runner. You just need to keep in mind your current mods and the goals you have for your car when you're looking around for long tubes, as well as what going with this size runner will do to your power band with the mods that you have. If you have some bolt-ons and you're still NA, you might see a hit on your low end torque, but once you spin the Coyote motor up, this diameter is going to help keep these things moving, and that's where you're going to see top end gains. Getting into the specifics here, these are 304 stainless steel headers that have a natural or raw finish, which is going to be different than a chrome or ceramic coated header. It obviously doesn't have the polished appearance that a chrome header would have, and while these don't have the ceramic coating either, they are made from that 304 stainless steel tubing, so you won't have to worry about corrosion. Not to mention, you get to see the beautiful weld since these have that raw finish. And this is mandrel-bent tubing, which is going to help with smoother air delivery. The primary tubes then merge down to 3-inch collectors with a scavenging spike. Kooks always uses scavenging spikes just to make sure that the headers will flow perfectly. And then Kooks uses a ball and socket design here for a tight and leak-free fit. Then you have your connection pipes here. Like I said earlier, they are 3-inch and they are catted. Now these aren't your normal high-flow race cats though. These are green cats, or cats that Kooks has developed that are high performance but that still meet the stringent EPA emissions standard. These cats are going to work well on both forced induction and on NA cars, and they do have a high rate of eliminating the emission-related check engine light issues. So the connection pipes start at 3-inch, but you can see that they do step down right here. They're going to step down to 2.5 inches, so you can run an aftermarket 2.5 inch cat back or mid pipe. And if you didn't know already, when you change your header setup to a long tube setup, you also need to change your mid pipe to a shorty mid pipe in order to work with the long tubes. So just keep the 2.5 inch requirement in your mind when you pick up your cat back or your mid pipe. If we move on to price, as we all pretty much know, or you know if you've been shopping for long tubes, that they're pretty much going to be a solid investment. They're pricey and they're difficult to install. The option from Kooks, since they are a higher quality item that's more at the top of the food chain, are going to be on the more expensive side. The 1 3/4 option that we have here are going to be slightly less expensive than the larger diameter primary option, which isn't unusual. You do tend to see the larger runner costing more than the smaller ones, but not usually by very much at all. You'll be spending a touch over $2,200 for a set of these. But do keep in mind that you'll still need a shorty mid pipe in order to install these, so you can figure on purchasing that as well. And that's why I called long tube headers an investment earlier. But you do have to keep in mind all the benefits and power that you'll be getting from this setup. And to put things in perspective, it's not just Kooks that's going to be expensive. You're going to be looking at headers costing over $1,000 anyways. As for the install on this one, long tubes are always going to be a difficult install. I don't say this often, but if you don't have a helping hand and you don't have much experience, it might be better just to take the car to a shop for the install. If you do tackle this yourself, it's going to be a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the scale and a day in the garage, especially considering you'll be installing either a mid pipe or a catback with these headers. You can do it on a jack and stands, but a lift will make it easier for sure. You're going to need your toolbox for this one with an assortment of different sockets, wrenches, and extensions. You're looking at things like disconnecting the steering shaft, dropping the starter, and removing a motor mount. A lot of this install obviously requires working in some pretty tight areas, so while everything is straightforward, getting access and maneuverability in these areas is actually tricky, which is why you need to pull a motor mount on one side, so you can raise the motor slightly with a jack to give you a little bit more room. Having a helping hand in this case is really going to benefit you, but a day of wrestling and some pretty pennies spent on these mods is totally worth it in my opinion. So wrapping things up with the Kooks long tube headers, these are 304 stainless steel headers with high flow green cats. They're 1 3/4 inch runners and 3-inch collectors that run down to 3-inch connecting pipes that then step down to 2.5 inches. This lets you keep your stock cat back or pair this system with an aftermarket cat back. As usual, you can check them out more online for yourself right here at AmericanMuscle.com.